In this video, I want to walk you through a guide to dealing with overwhelm when life feels just a little bit messy. This is a way to clear your mind and start doing the work, creating a bit of a game plan for how you're going to move forward. I like to think of myself as the bounce back queen because I feel like bouncing back is more important than avoiding a feeling altogether. And when it comes to overwhelm, I feel like I'm pretty freaking good at bouncing back. So in this video, I'll walk you through in a bit of a checklist kind of way what to do if you're experiencing overwhelm. These are all things that I've done recently when experiencing overwhelm, so I can absolutely vouch for them. I also have created a workbook accompanying this video that really walks you through this in a step-by-step way, which is excellent when you're feeling a little messy in the head. So you can download that using the link below, whether you want to use it now or when in future you're in that kind of mental state. It will be a super helpful guide for you. So the first thing to do when you're dealing with overwhelm is the brainstorm. This is an incredibly important thing to do when you are dealing with overwhelm. Even just this one step is going to provide you with so much relief for your wired brain. Write down all of the things that are taking up space in your head at that point in time. You want to be writing down all the things that are driving you absolutely insane, all the things that are nagging you that you feel like need to be done now, all of the urgent things that are coming up, things that people are messaging you about, whatever it may be. A fun thing that I do when I'm overwhelmed is I turn off any form of planning. So I just start doing. I turn into a doer. I'm doing tasks as they pop up in my head or as someone's messaging me about them. Like, it's completely reactive. I just turned into like this literal machine that doesn't know how to prioritize, doesn't know what I should be doing first, doesn't know what's important, certainly doesn't know how to delegate, but does know how to do. And doing is a great thing, but when you're doing the wrong things and you're prioritizing the wrong things, it can turn into a nightmare. By spending an hour or 30 minutes creating a plan, you are going to save yourself so much time in the long run, and it's gonna decrease those feelings of overwhelm, so you're gonna do a better job as well. So first step, grab out your workbook and brain dump all of the things. So the next step in the process is the evaluation of the brain dump. We love a good brain dump, but more than that, we love a good evaluation of the brain dump. This is the most important part. It is so easy when you're feeling overwhelmed to feel like absolutely everything needs to be done today and everything needs to be done by you. And even just falling into a trap of thinking that everything needs to be done. And a lot of the time that's just not the case. The evaluation of the brain dump involves going through all of the things on your brain dump list and asking yourself 3 questions that I learned from Kate Northup. Does this really need to be done? Does this really need to be done today? Does this really need to be done by me? These sound really simple, and it's one of those things that I could imagine if I were watching this video, I'd probably switch off and I'd be like, yeah. Obviously. But if you truly sit down and you ask those questions very seriously, like treat it like it's a very serious activity, you're gonna find yourself coming to revelations. You might want to chuck 3 literal checkboxes next to every item on your brain dump list to make sure that you're really thoroughly considering these questions. So I know that when I did this, I went through my list and I realized, like, no, most of this list doesn't need to be done today. A few things in this list literally don't need to be done, and some things don't need to be done by me. The next step is to ask for or pay for help. So maybe you really need to create some content, you're on a deadline, and you also have a coffee date with a friend that you promised that you'd see that you canceled on 3 times tomorrow. Ask them to take a few Instagram photos of you. Maybe, like me, your tax is looking like it's starting to take 3 days as opposed to 3 hours. Get on the phone to that person in your life who you know is good with tax and ask them for help. In exchange for a nice meal, a case of beer, depending on the human being. People in your life, especially people that love you, like, they want to help you. And you're going to help them in return someday. That's how friendships and relationships work. But sometimes you need to actually ask, and I know that's something that I am not very good at. Working on it. So push past that pride, look at your list of things to do and think, who can I ask to help me with this task? Sometimes it might not even be about getting friends to help. It might just be, I'm gonna put this task on Airtasker because it's a low admin task. It's not something I should be spending my time doing. Or instead of taking yourself out grocery shopping, ordering that grocery shopping online and getting it delivered, paying $10, giving yourself that little luxury while you're in this state of overwhelm. The next step is to filter out any and all distractions. Turn off your phone, hide it in a drawer, close all browser tabs that have nothing to do with the thing that you should be doing. Block your email so that you can't check it. Another thing I would say about distractions, particularly if you're in a state of overwhelm, I would take 10 minutes. It's gonna sound like an indulgence, but to clean your space. I think you probably know yourself best with this. You'll probably know where you sit on the scale of how much you care about your space being clean, how much that influences you. For me, I feel like I sit at like an 8. And if I'm overwhelmed and my room is a bomb site, it's gonna lead to more overwhelm. So if you two sit like above a 5 on that scale, take 10 minutes to clean your room. Chuck on a Google timer, as we know I love to do. We're not doing a deep clean here, we're doing like an artificial clean that just gets you into a good headspace. Once again, I know that these things sound like they're frivolous when you're in a state of overwhelm. You're like, no, I just need to do. But seriously, you are going to set yourself up so much better for success. You're going to decrease that overwhelm so much if you just take a little bit of time to do these things. The next step is to accept a pass. If anyone embraces progress, not perfection, it is I. I don't think I'm the right person to school anyone in decreasing perfectionist tendencies because it's not a problem that I've really dealt with. But if you have them, I would advise having a quick mental chat with yourself and trying to tone them down. If you want to publish all your content, plan and host your mum's 50th birthday, and go on a weekend away all by the end of the week, something's gotta give. So maybe your mom doesn't really need a full-blown platter table that looks like that Pinterest photo custom done by you with little hand-embossed labels. Maybe she'd be totally happy with some sushi platters that you get from Sushi Train. Everyone loves sushi. Or maybe instead of doing that intricate video guide on how to blank, you can do a quick, simple vlog or a little list video. And the last step is to time block. So usually I'm not big on time blocking. I think that it works really well for a lot of people. Amy Landino has some great videos on time blocking if it's something that you're interested in. I'll link those down below. For me, I find with time blocking, my inner rebel is just a little too loud. It does not like being told what to do at what time. However, if I am in a state of overwhelm and I'm really busy, that's when I'll time block, and I find it really helpful then. Because when you're running around freaking out, having a schedule to go back to is gonna be helpful for your mind. And it's also gonna help you to get all the things done. Like, you really need to make the most out of your time, and time blocking is really effective in that way. It probably doesn't give you as much freedom, but you don't need freedom right now. You can get freedom later. Then you can move back to your to-do list, but time blocking is good when you're in this state. So what I like to do is print out an iCal calendar. You can do this really easily on your Mac, or you can just print out a Google Calendar. I get out my colored pencils and I block everything out. You can also do this digitally, but I like doing it on paper. So really look at that brainstorming list that you've now dwindled down and be like, okay, when am I gonna fit all of these tasks in this week? Probably start by putting in any genuine appointments, like unmissable events. So any meetings, any catch-ups with friends, unless you've reevaluated them and they're not a priority right now, appointments, whatever it may be. Chuck those onto your calendar first, and then you wanna start moving in the things that are on your brainstorm list that you've realized, yes, like these are things that need to be done this week or today. I think one of the best things about time blocking is seeing how much time you're actually dedicating to the important tasks. Like if you've done an 80-20 of your task analysis, you know that you're doing the right things. Going off track, but hey. If you liked this video, you're probably going to like my video on how to be productive, not busy. So that talks a little bit more about probably that 80-20 side of things and picking the more important tasks to be working on rather than the busy tasks that are so easy to fall into the trap of doing. I'm gonna have that video linked on the screen and linked down below. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you soon.